Hi, everyone. So today I just want to talk about just a few life updates and then the upcoming the updates coming to D2R. So first, I want to say something that's been on my mind is, how relationships and things like that can be great, but at the same time, how they can be damaging. Uh, I just watched a video of a famous person out there, and he met this lady. I guess she was somewhat of a regular lady when he met her, and he always spoke about her and things like that. But it seems like just more so recently, he's now um, bringing her into his content, and you could really see some things with her behavior that just makes it seem like she doesn't respect him, and the relationship's not going to last. And that assumption may or may not be right, but everybody's basically saying, yeah, it looks over for various reasons. And now the impact that's going to have on him financially. And reflecting, but that made me reflect on my own life because I know where I'm at financially. Like I have a very solid job and I'm in a I'm in a solid spot financially. And, without even having to dip into like savings or investments, you know, within the you know within a handful of years, my home's gonna be paid off, and you know I'll basically be almost set for retirement. If the way I look at it is, if you want to live a comfortable life, once your home's paid off, your cost of living should technically be low. Your rent, your mortgage, that's a huge cost. So once you eliminate that cost from your monthly expenses, you may not necessarily be able to retire, but your dependency on a high paying job or a high stress job may be lower. Once my home is paid off, I can I can work at a park where the for the city that doesn't pay that much, and just have a low stress job and still pay my bills, and um still stay pay my bills and have a little bit left over. But my point is, if I get into a relationship, if I start to have kids, that secure, almost guaranteed financial future is gone. And it made me reflect on this man who's probably has two, three, four times the wealth that I do. And I question what drove him to get into that situation without any safeguards and jeopardize his future. And, maybe it's that he has so much wealth that even if he ends up giving up millions of dollars, he'll still have enough to live in that comfortable future. So maybe the risk isn't that high. For me, if I have to give up half of what I have, it puts a huge dent into my financial security in the future. And it doesn't mean I don't find ways to accelerate and like make up for it. That's a whole nother topic. But at my current very steady rate and very dependable rate, that would definitely be at some kind of risk. And then to kind of sway from that topic, I've been in a lot of relationships in the past, and the one thing I would agree with the most is the importance of putting yourself first, not necessarily to be selfish, but I would say definitely putting your health first. I've been in relationships where, I would do very quick workouts, maybe do like a 25-minute workout in my garage, which was hardly adequate enough for me personally, just to get it in so that I could run and go spend time with my partner. And I did that, several times a week at least, and over time that adds up, and it really brought me in a position where I was still in decent shape. I was probably still like stronger and faster than a lot of people, but it really I wasn't in the shape I was in now. And after that relationship ended, I really learned, I knew people always said like put your health first, but I really learned the importance of that. And sometimes it's something that's easier said than done. So keep that in mind. But I will always stress to you guys, go to the gym, you know, if you're busy, find the closest, most easily accessible gym to your house and just go in there and make sure you're lifting hard. You know, if I do, like a set of bench press, my first few sets are warm ups and I pyramid the weight up, but I'm at least doing 2 to 3 sets to failure. And on a barbell bench press, you need to be careful with that. So I might not necessarily hit failure on the barbell bench press unless I can get a spot because there's huge risk there, you know. But if I'm on any other machine afterwards, but I'll definitely hit failure. But there's certain situations where you really need to think about safety. Like if you're gonna squat to 100% failure on a barbell squat, I think that there's a lot of risk there. If you're gonna deadlift to 100% failure, fine. I mean, your back might not be fine if you're gonna deadlift to 100% failure. You're gonna round your back somewhere, but at least you don't have to worry about the weight falling on top of you. You just need to worry about not breaking your back. So the safety there is body mechanics versus risk of weights crushing you. But I definitely, in my older age now, um, I definitely enjoy using machines because like chest machines, back machines, different kinds of leg machines is because you can push yourself to as close as failure as you can get in that moment and not necessarily worry about hurting yourself. And you can maybe even channel in tighter form as you're doing that. Um, there was something about that I wanted to mention. And I think from using more machines as I got older, and I actually think my physique did develop in a way that was lacking when I was a little bit younger. It could be the muscle maturity, but I also think I got a deeper stimulation from focusing on machines to some degree. But I still try to use barbells. Um, so yeah, I think that's what I kind of just wanted to talk about where my mindset is on the fitness stuff. And again, I got a pre-workout here. Going for a run today. Do your cardio. Make sure you're doing some kind of cardio that's keeping everything working. But and then the last thing I wanted to talk about, I think a lot of you are going to be more interested in this is there's a lot of rumors right now, and well, some evidence that there's going to be some. All we really know is there's going to be some kind of update to Diablo 2 Resurrected. I think in the worst case scenario, it's just going to be 2 extra stash tabs. I think I hope if they give us two, if that's all it is, I hope like one of those stash tabs is a place that like stacks. Because right now, if you got 100 runes, you need to have 100 slots, right? And some people like that because then it causes you to prioritize like how you store your items. You have to make decisions. So I hope they give us at least like a page that lets us stack our runes on it. Like I've seen a mock-up of this. Somebody mentioned this online, like a spot for your keys, your essences, your tokens, like gems, like flawless gems, chip gems, and um all those in-game items, like runes, so that you're not wasting a whole whole tons of stash tabs for those that you can just kind of store them in one place and they all stack. That would be cool. If that was the case, I'd be more likely to pick up like Eth runes and Tal runes and Sal runes, you know. I really don't pick I pick up Hell runes because they're pretty useful. You know, I used to pick up Ral runes and whatever the other one is to like repair weapons and armor. But now that I have a gold find barb, I don't even pick those up. But yeah, I pick up like ums and poles and maybe a couple of co runes. Like those are probably around the lowest runes I pick up. But yeah, I'm hoping for at least a couple stash tabs, but an enhanced stash tab is what I really want, where you can stack in game, like what would you call those? Like in game functional items, not functional items. I don't know, runes and all that stuff. Um, in the best case scenario for me personally, I hope there's a new act. I hope there's a whole new act with all like full set of waypoints, all new terrain, all new monsters. To me, that would be fun. I would farm the hell out of it. You know, I really don't. I don't want them to change the level cap. I've heard some people say that they're going to change the level cap. For me personally, you know, I don't want to level past 99. You know, that's way too much work. And if you're going to do like competitive PvP, there's going to be some crazy people leveling up really high. So keep the cap at 99. Um, New areas for farming and having like in-game events and things like that, that would be cool. New character, I don't want that. New rune words, I don't really want that. You know, we can see how the game got ruined with Mosaic, so I think that they're gonna put in any new rune words, the balance there is gonna be a problem. And half the time they put in new rune words, they're not even like end game rune words. So, you know, it might not even, if that does end up happening, half of the stuff isn't even gonna be that useful. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. I hope for and if I was to say like what kind of new level I would want, I would like a level like where the beach, yeah, beach, where the town is like almost on a beach where, and when you run to the outskirts of the town, you can see like the ocean waves washing onto the shore. Like you're on an island and the town is on like one corner or one side of the island and you can see like the ocean there. And then there's like palm trees and so kind of like Act 2. And as you go inland, it becomes more of like a tropical jungle in the daylight, and there'd be all different kinds of minions, whatever you would find in the tropical areas, like lizards and I don't know, lions and tigers and things like that. I think that would be cool, and it would of course have that dark theme of that we're used to in D2. It wouldn't be, you know, very colorful. But yeah, let's leave it like that. Leave it at that. Let's see what happens with this update. Hopefully, it's something cool. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I got more D2 content coming out soon. Think you'll all like it. All right. Thank you.